study the indefinite articles, os artigos indefinidos. Uma, uns, umas. Uma, uns, umas. I'm going to repeat. Uma, uns, umas. As you can see, they follow the same pattern of the definite articles that we have studied in the previous lesson, o, a, us, as, because they have the same structure in terms of gender and number. So, if the noun is both masculine and singular, we use If the noun is both feminine and singular, we use uma. If the noun is both masculine and plural, we use uns. And if the noun is both feminine and plural, we use umas. And we are going to see examples in a few minutes. But I just wanted to let you know in advance that we're going to divide the indefinite articles in Portuguese into two groups. Dois grupos, two groups. The singular group, and uma, and the plural group, uns and umas. Because the translation to English, the relation comparing to English changes. I'm going to show you examples, and you must know that the easiest part is the singular and the most challenging part is the plural. Uns and umas is something more challenging to make you understand, but I hope that you understand how these indefinite articles, the plural ones, how they work in Portuguese. So let's start with the singular. Well, the singular indefinite articles in Portuguese, and uma, they can be easily translated by the indefinite article in English, a or an. It's just a matter of pronunciation. It's the same article. You have only one. We have only one indefinite article in English, and it works only for singular nouns in English. We don't have in English an indefinite article for the plural nouns. We have only for the singular nouns. So we have other things, some or a few other things in English to translate uns and umas from Portuguese to English. Now the examples. Let's see the singular group first. So tell me, what do we have on the board? We have a waiter. A waiter. Nós temos garçom. Garçom. A waiter. Garçom. What else? O que mais? What do we have on the board? We have a woman. Uma mulher. It's the same girls, the same woman. Uma mulher. Uma mulher. We have a man, homem. Homem. A man, homem. What is she wearing here? She is wearing a scarf. A scarf, cachecol. Cachecol, a scarf. Or lenço, it also works. Lenço, cachecol. She is wearing cachecol, lenço. Ela tá usando cachecol. Ela tá usando lenço. She's wearing a scarf. Tem uma coxinha. There is a coxinha. Uma coxinha. Uma coxinha. We have a coffee shop. Uma cafeteria. Uma cafeteria. We have a coffee shop on the board. Or café. A coffee shop can be translated by café or cafeteria, but it changes the gender. Cafeteria is feminine, café is masculine. Uma cafeteria, café. What is the waiter holding in his hand? Like me. A pen, uma caneta. Uma caneta. So, a waiter, garçom. A woman, uma mulher. A man, homem. A scarf, cachecol or lenço. Coxinha, coxinha. Uma coxinha, a coxinha. A coffee shop, uma cafeteria ou café. A pen, uma caneta. So enough of the singular. I think you understood already. Let's see now the plural indefinite articles, the most challenging indefinite articles. So, nossa, the whiteboard is getting blue. A lousa está ficando azul. Vamos lá. The plural, uns and umas. There is something I want to talk about regarding the indefinite articles to help you to understand the concept. Well, indefinite articles, it's something imprecise. You are not counting, you are not being precise and using numbers. However, there is something I want to let you know. A curiosity in Portuguese, something very curious. When you want to say there is one coxinha, tem uma coxinha, you say one in English, right? One. The number one. Uma coxinha. Homem. I'm telling you how it is in Portuguese instead of saying in English. One man. Homem. It's also and uma. And uma in Portuguese are also the number one. And it also agrees with the noun. If the noun is masculine, we say but we say like this, homem. We must, to make it sound as the number, we must do some gesture, some intonation, or to use other words to make it clear. We are counting how many men are there. Only one. Só, only one. Homem, uma mulher. So, it's the same word, the same way we say one and a. A man, one man. We say homem for both. Uma mulher, one woman, a woman. It's both of them in Portuguese, uma mulher. So, can you see that that's something curious? So, the thing is, when we use the indefinite article, we are not talking about precision, the precise number of things. For example, coxinha. Coxinha, can you see there are two coxinhas? Tem two coxinhas here. So if I say in English, there is a coxinha, it's correct. But if I say there is one coxinha, I'm wrong because there are two. When we use numbers, our precision is important. So if you say the wrong number, you are not telling the truth. But if you use the indefinite article, there is a coxinha there. Yeah, it's okay because you were imprecise. So the concept of indefinite article, on one hand, is the imprecision. On the other hand, it's opposed to the definite articles because when we want to use the definite articles, we are pointing to a specific thing or in a specific person, and the indefinite articles are more for, you are not being so precise in terms of the reference you are talking about. Also, in Portuguese, there is an option of not using any article when we don't want to specify, when we don't want to be like so definido like this. But that's a subject for another lesson. Let's stick to the indefinite articles. But I wanted to explain this concept to you because the idea of the uns and umas is being imprecise, avoiding numbers, avoiding countings. You don't count. You just say there is some, there are some, there is a few. Something like a few or some in English is the meaning of uns and umas in Portuguese. With examples, this is going to get clear. So, for example, if I don't want to be precise, I'm talking about coxinhas. I just want to say that there are a few coxinhas on the table. Tem umas coxinhas na mesa. There are a few coxinhas on the table. Tem umas coxinhas na mesa. Então, tem umas coxinhas. I don't want to say how many. I know there are duas coxinhas, but I don't want to be precise. I just want to say there are a few. There are some coxinhas. Umas coxinhas. Tem uns cafés. I'm not being precise. I don't know if it's a hot chocolate, if it's a coffee, whatever. Uns cafés. Tem umas coxinhas. Tem uns cafés. Tem uns... Can you see this green part here? Tem uns limões. We can say like this, uns limões, meaning uns pedaços de limão. Some pieces of lemon. Uns pedaços de limão. Some pieces of lemon. Uns pedaços de limão. The same meaning, uns limões. Limões is the plural of limão. Uns limões, uns cafés, umas coxinhas. So, that's the usage of the indefinite article in Portuguese. Look at my gesture. Tem umas coxinhas, uns cafés, uns limões. This gesture here follows the indefinite article in the plural form because it means some, a few, in an imprecise way of speaking. More or less like this. Uns, umas, not many. Uns and umas are not many, are just some or a few. You cannot translate it by few. Few is something different from a few. I said only a few in English. Okay, so you can translate. How can we translate this to English? A few coxinhas, some coffees, some cups of coffee, some pieces of lemons, a few pieces of lemon. All right, what else? Inside here, inside this dish here, I can see and tell you there are some peanuts. Uns amendoins, some peanuts. Uns amendoins. In English, a few is used only for countable nouns. So you cannot say a few peanuts unless it's something countable, but I don't think so. So a few is used for countable nouns only, and some is used for uncountable and countable nouns. You can use some for both types. This thing of countable and uncountable is something more subtle in Portuguese, and it's not so relevant, just don't worry. Uns and umas can work with many nouns, and no matter, like peanuts or pieces of lemon. Oh, pieces of lemon is countable. Umas castanhas, some nuts. Umas castanhas. Umas castanhas. Umas castanhas. Uns amendoins. So I'm going to say what I can see here on the table. Umas coxinhas, uns cafés, uns limões ou uns pedaços de limão, uns amendoins, umas castanhas. One more example. Imagine that you walk into that coffee shop and you see a few people there. Umas pessoas. Not many people, only a few. Umas pessoas. Only a few people, só umas pessoas. Not many. So, when we say umas coxinhas, uns cafés, uns limões, uns amendoins, umas castanhas, we are saying that the quantity of all that is not big. I'm not saying that it's too small, no. I'm saying that there's a reasonable quantity, a certain amount of those things or people, but it's not a huge quantity. So, it's just a few, just some. Umas coxinhas, uns cafés, uns limões, uns pedaços de limão. Only a few people there. Umas pessoas there inside the coffee shop. Dentro da cafeteria.